In this video, we're looking at 3 unique ways that you can use molding and trim in your woodworking projects. If you're interested in a more in-depth tutorial on each of these projects, be sure to check out the links below. Now that our box is built, we can begin adding the crown molding and the panel molding to the frame. I'll start with the panel molding, which will be the trim detail along the bottom of our cornice box. For our installation, we're using the Brantley panel molding from Osborne part 893166. Once you have your bottom trim detail cut out, you can add some wood glue and place it on the bottom edge of the cornice box. Once again, we'll use a finish nailer or a brad nailer to hold it in place and add some extra support. Next, we can measure and cut the crown molding, which will be our top trim detail on this box. To cut the crown molding, angle the piece against the top and bottom fence of your miter saw. When cutting this way, make sure the top of your crown molding is touching the base of the saw. This will ensure that your measurements line up and your miters line up at each corner without any awkward angles. Now that the crown molding is cut out, I decided to flip the box upside down and use my work surface as a reference to get a flush, even fit with the top of the box. This is up to your preference and can be customized depending on your space. Once again, I'll add some wood glue and secure the molding in place using a finish nailer or a brad nailer. When nailing in crown molding, make sure to locate the nail in an area that won't crack the wood or pop through the back side. While the box is drying, we can cut out the molding and trim for the top and bottom detail. For the top trim, I'm using the transitional dental molding from Osborne part 891665. Since this molding will install flat around the top of the box, I can place it against the fence of my table saw and cut a simple 45-degree miter. For the bottom molding, I'm using the narrow classic crown molding part 892144. Since this molding won't install flat around the bottom edge, we need to cut it like a traditional crown molding. I can angle the crown molding to rest against the top and bottom fence of my miter saw. Once the molding and trim is cut to size, I'll apply it to the box using some wood glue and a pin nailer. A pin nailer will help hold the molding in place while the glue dries without creating a large hole to cover later. I'll line up each seam to be as flush as possible and install the top and bottom molding on all 4 sides. I'm using 2 different molding profiles for this project. The outside is going to be a carved acanthus leaf profile, while the inside will be a carved bead molding. The outer trim will be the same dimensions as my frame, so I'll cut those out first before moving on to the interior trim that will surround the mirror. For the interior trim, make sure to place the mirror back in its location before measuring to avoid any issues with alignment. Before removing the mirror, I'll make sure to dry fit all of the pieces just to make sure that my miters are lining up how I want them to, and then I'll mark the edges so that I can remove the mirror and attach the molding using a brad nailer and some wood glue. Next, I'll add a thin bead of wood glue to the back side of my molding and tack it in place using an 18 gauge brad nailer. This will hold the trim in place until the wood glue dries, but also allow us to correct any slight bowing in the wood. Once our outside trim is attached, we can line up the interior trim with our lines that we created earlier and add some paint before installing the mirror.